Hello and welcome to the Record Club, brought to you by Record Store Day, the official charts, and National Album Day, and proudly in association with Bowers Wilkins. My name is Jess Izzat. Thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to say that our guest this evening is Jaz Karis to talk all about her new album, Safe Flights. If you're new here, we're going to be spending the next half an hour or so talking to Jaz about the brilliant new record, and then we're going to be putting forward some of your questions about the album for her to answer. So, if you want to get involved, get stuck in, drop us a question in the comment section below. I'll be asking a selection of them in the second half of our chat. And on top of that, one lucky person who sends in a question today is going to be randomly selected to win a pair of Bowers and Wilkins PX7 Season 2 over-ear noise-cancelling headphones. Obviously, it's a wicked prize. The album sounds amazing in them. So, yeah, don't miss out. Get your questions to us. Also, I have got a copy of the album with me. If you haven't already got yourself physical, we thoroughly recommend you order one from your local record store once our chat with Jaz is over. But first, let's get straight to this week's Record Club and say a big hello to Jaz Karis. Welcome along.
Hi, love. How are you?
I'm good. I've just been complimenting on your background. It's in the running for one of the best backgrounds that we've had on the Record Club. I can't lie.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, I like it. The colours, it's all very nice, well thought out.
Thanks.
So we start each week on the Record Club with a question from one of the many amazing independent record stores from across the UK. And this week's question is from Jack at Le Freak Records in Dundee, which actually feels like, with Halloween coming up, that feels quite on brand. But Jack wants to get away. He goes, Jaz, your album is called Safe Flights, but I am terrified of flying. Have you got any tips to prepare me for my next holiday?
Yeah, so, okay. That's a really good question. I used to be afraid of flying too, ironically. I really didn't like it. And I think the way to get over it is to just keep doing it. And stats help too, it's actually more dangerous driving than it is being on a plane and things like that, if that helps. Say a prayer if you believe in that. Just, calm down. The album might help distract you, I hope. Some good music, a good film. But I just think you got to keep doing it. Like, the more you keep doing something, the less you are afraid of it, confront your enemy.
I agree with that. I'm lucky enough to say that I've been flying from a young age, but I just remember some people used to get absolutely terrified. I think if you go with someone who's also used to it as well, that's good vibes.
Definitely.
Okay, well, thank you, obviously, Jack and everyone at Le Freak Records. Also, congratulations on the album, the debut. How does that feel?
Sometimes I still just can't believe that it's out. It feels great. I don't think it's really sunk in yet. I'm just very happy with everything, really.
It's honestly such a brilliant record, and I was going through it, and I was looking at the vinyl on the inside. How much deciding did you have to do around the, I guess, well, things like the artwork, what you're going to use on the front, and also the color of the vinyl?
Yeah, a lot went into it. Like, I'm a visual learner, so I really hope that came across. But down to every piece of artwork, I wanted it to connect to the title. I wanted it to be like a whole package, not just random things. So we tried to use because travel was such a huge part of this, we tried to use very much document and passport style photos. The vinyl, you'll see the insert is on and the back is on passport paper, design of it and stuff. And everything from the A side, B side, the color of your disc is London Heathrow, and then some people have got the LA variant, which is yellow. Down to singles, even. I think I just wanted everything to be forms of identification and just all connect to one bigger story. So yeah,
it's honestly so cool.
Right now.
And then the LA version is the yellow.
Yeah, the color that's on the A side, and then B side is London. So you'll see as well on the back, it will say London Heathrow to LA, LAX, and then LAX home, basically.
I was going to ask about this, like the times and everything. I
Yeah.
wondered whether they were random or they had meaning or yeah, sort of where that came from.
Yeah, so the times it's just literally split in half. It's not the times don't actually have meaning. They're just the half of the record, but the sides do, I guess, where you're traveling to and from.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah, no, it's very, very cool. And I saw the blue and the sort of white, the speckled. It's so
Thank you.
nice to just like hold up and have a look. And that's your debut record as well. Do you remember when you first got one?
Oh, the when I first received the vinyl.
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy? I actually received it not that long ago, so it was like after it come out. I hadn't seen the variant yet. And just because I've been traveling so much, I haven't had one delivered to where I was. So yeah, it was insane. I'm not gonna lie. My mom cried. I opened it with her, so that was really nice. But I had an amazing team that helped me put this together. So large up all of them.
Yeah, speaking of your mum and obviously the title of the album, I think at first, not that it seemed random, but it wasn't like a title track kind of vibe. And I was thinking of like the different explanations, obviously like the visuals and where you recorded in Barbados or maybe like writing in LA. But I think the biggest clues maybe in the thank yous. Is
What
that right?
the clues are?
Where you said for the title of the album where you
Like,
thank your mum.
always wishing me a safe flight. Yeah.
Is that why the album is called that?
It's not just directly from her, but just in general. Like, yeah, that's literally why it's called Safe Flight, is because it's what I heard. Making this album is I heard that more than anything was have a safe flight. To the point where even like there's a voice message in like the middle in the interlude, and in it, Charlie says that. And he had no idea that the album was called Safe Flight. So it was just like everything was just echoing and making sense. Like, yeah, this is the album name, 100%.
Oh, that's so sweet. And when your mum says that, it's so sincere as well. And you're like, don't worry, you're making me worried now.
I know this.
Oh, I love that. And you've well, one of my questions was around that interlude. Who's Charlie? Talk to me about that
Charlie's an
message.
amazing producer. He's also a really good friend of mine. Charlie Heat is his name. He's an incredible friend of mine, and I think yeah, him sending that me was completely random. I was in the middle, like frantically packing because I was gonna miss my flight home, but I'd seen him the day before and was talking to him about music and everything that was going on. And yeah, it was just when he sent that to me, I had to stop packing because you just think a friend sent a voice note, so I just was playing it whilst I was doing it, and then I realized what he was saying and how deep it was and like heartfelt, and yeah, I got super emotional. And only occurred to me like a couple weeks later. I like begged him to let me use it in the in the song, and he told me let me hear it first, and I played it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, it sounds sick. You can use it."
He was like, wait, let me check. Let
He
me
was like,
check
"I'm never
it's
sending
okay.
you a voice note ever again."
Oh, it's honestly so nice, like to the point where it's like, so you can tell it's sincere, but it's almost so perfect that it's like, was this written for the album? Was it like a real
Like,
voice note?
yeah, it was so perfect, even down to where like he does his terrible London like British accent, but it was like an American, and yeah, it was just so it just made so much sense. I couldn't believe it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And I was like, oh, that's made me emotional. It's not even for me, but it's like also one of those things like when he prefaces it and it's like, oh, like I wasn't even going to send this, but I thought you might like to hear it. And I was like, that's really sweet. And you also have voice notes or voice messages in the beginning in Nostalgia.
Yeah.
Are those friends or was that written as well?
So they were all like my friends. I'm like a sucker for like sentimental voice messages and things. Like some of my favorite songs and interludes, especially, have those. They just tie like an album together. And for nostalgia, I just wanted because it's about like me growing up and the visuals to it even is just like all my friends and family. I wanted those voices of people that I loved and that like knew me, and like some of those memories were real. Like one of my friends said, I think we met at bonfire night, and we did. So yeah, it was just perfect. It just really fit together. Everything really fit together.
It's such a real sort of like timestamp of, yeah, of your time and like bringing us up to date with you. Did you write any lyrics or music whilst you're on a plane or a flight?
Definitely. There's like, I don't know if this is true or it's a myth, but people say you're more creative in the air. Yeah, and I definitely am. I definitely write a lot on a plane, even if it's like, I'm sure half of it will never come out, but I definitely write some lyrics and just random thoughts on a plane that somehow then maybe later turn into songs.
I guess you sort of like get in that mode where you're thinking about so many things, and if you're traveling to or from somewhere that means something to you, maybe it like triggers something creative in it.
Yeah, and I think, like, for example, London to LA is such a long flight, like it's 10, 11 hours. So I really am a stickler, like, for putting my phone on airplane mode. Even if there's Wi-Fi, like, I don't buy Wi-Fi on a plane because I think it's just such a good opportunity to just disconnect. And yeah, like, no one can reach me and it's like not my fault now. So I'm just gonna be in airplane mode for real. And I think you can just have honest thoughts with yourself. No one's bothering you. You can write what you feel. You have time. And yeah, it's just a bit serene up there sometimes in the sky.
What song was the last tune to be written for this album? Like, when did you know like that was the final piece?
It was actually the intro, which was Nostalgia.
Is it?
Yeah, I wrote the first song last.
It's funny that because it seems so, yeah, like nostalgic and like you're looking back. When was that written? Like how recent?
I'm trying to think, when did I write that? It definitely was like a few months or maybe a month even before things went off to be mixed and mastered. Like I had every other song and there was just like I was in love with everything. Like I loved everything, but I was like, I need a beginning. Like I need a bit more of like young jazz, or like I need that touch of just nostalgia. I'm a very nostalgic person. So it's ironic that the song's called Nostalgia. But yeah, and I'm so happy. Like the guys that I made it, they also produced some other songs on there, like Tequila, Met You at a Bar. They're incredible, and they're based in LA. And I actually recorded this here in London, and I asked them to send me just different options, and they sent me two. One was the one that I chose, and then one was like a piano based one. But as soon as I played I think even the guitar on it just sounded nostalgic, and I was like, yeah, this is where I need to speak. Like this is it.
There are, I can see some questions are coming in already about the album, so I'm like gonna try and get as many of mine out. I know that at the end of the record you have some slightly heavier tracks, and Prayer is such a gorgeous, gorgeous tune, but you've already mentioned about having a prayer on a flight, you know, for your advice for I think it is Jack from Le Freak Records. But yeah, what does that final tune mean to you?
Prayer is like super deep. It's one that I can't listen to it too much. I think it gets me a bit emotional, but I really wanted to close off the album that way because that's how I close off every day, was with a prayer. So I wanted to close off my album that way. Almost like a thank you to God as well. And I just think it's actually on a pretty deep topic that I don't think would like be picked up just on listening. But I wrote it just about someone I love suffering with alcohol abuse. And I just think what I wanted the song to come across was like the message to come across was that faith really matters in someone that's struggling with something. And, you know, sometimes we discount faith, but it actually really does help people move forward. And I think, the song was really about faith and just kind of closing off the whole album.
Is there a song that almost didn't make it onto the album?
Yeah, I would say, do you know what's crazy? There was two actually, but the first one was Sims Castaway, and that's only because I
love that song.
But I rediscovered Sims Castaway like in the middle of basically, like I knew I needed a song with Jules on there. Like me and Jules have made so many records in the past. It was like I need that on my piano. Yeah, I need the Jules song on there. So we was making some stuff and the stuff was cool. And then I don't know how I found it, but like I just went searching for my laptop. Let me see if I've got any vibes. And I just typed in Jules' name on my laptop and found Sims Castaway. Like I found it. I'd made it like a year before, like during lockdown. And I was like, why have I not done anything with this? And I said to Jules, like, why have we forgot about this? So that one then ended up adding it on. And then 2242, I made really late in the album. Like it was not, I kind of wrapped up making the album and then I made that song and I just had to squeeze it in there because I loved it.
Well, okay. About Sims Castaway, are we actually talking about The Sims?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm a massive
Okay.
fan.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's weird. I'm like, no, don't judge a song by what it's called. But I was like, I can already tell this bit of me. And then like listening to it, I was like, oh, it's just like warm. I'm a piano. Like your voice sounds so perfect with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, lush, love that one, and so glad that you refound that. I feel like that is also like a calling. You're like, nope, need to find this one, and it needs to
It's
be.
like, it needed to come out. Like I made that. I love Sims, so I made that song like in lockdown, and all I was playing was Sims. I was either making music and playing Sims, and then I used to like there's one lyric in this gin and tonic because I used to have a gin and tonic and play Sims.
Oh my God, that actually sounds like such a vibe.
Such a
Sweet.
vibe. So I was
Maybe I'll just do that this weekend. And yeah, then 2242. I think I actually know the story behind this because I was watching your video about this, but I actually love it. So obviously it's got that cheeky like late night feel to it, but that's not actually the
the
reason for the name of the song, is it?
no the name of the song is actually named after the code for the bathroom of that session. But it just happens to be that the time code of like, it's 20 to 11 at night. So it is cheeky vibes. And then someone even brought to my attention it's the 10th track on on the album. So I was like, another reason. Makes sense.
Another reason. Oh, yeah, I love that. And you've got a number of collabs on this, but the one with Mahalia was one that I've had the pleasure of playing on the radio as well. How was it working with our gal Mahalia? And yeah, talk to me about that song.
Honestly, I felt like, when you meet someone, you just feel like you've known them forever. That's how it felt. I've known Mahalia for a while now, and we've done different stuff, but I actually sent her this song and she sent me back her verse. So like I was in Texas, made this, I knew I needed another like female artist on there to just like go ham a bit and talk some shit. And I was like, basically, I sent it to her and she was like, yeah, this is the one. She sent back her verse, sorry, and it was like, yeah, it was just done and dusted. It was really easy, and yeah, she's a great girl.
No, it works so well. And I was just like, I don't know, it feels good. I feel like it's taken a bit of time to get here, to get to soulful female voices on the same record. I mean, we have a few, like a fair few now, but
Yeah.
it didn't always used to happen like that. I think people used to want a contrast. People were like, oh, there's not enough room for that. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I feel like we've sort of come a long way with soul music or modern soul music.
I completely agree. I do feel like sometimes or often women in the industry are felt to be like there's only one space or like they're pitted against each other. So I think it's always good to just encourage a link up between the two.
It's almost mad that they thought that, because it's like if you're a fan of one of these, then having those two on a record is like dream
It's
collab.
an illusion. Like there's space for everyone to win in everything. So yeah, it's just an illusion.
100%. Right. We have Kyra on the Record Club's Facebook who is asking, when did you know the album was finished?
When I made Nostalgia, I think that's when I knew like, okay, I've got all of the other songs are locked in and I now have my intro. That's when I knew. I hope that answers it clearly enough.
Mel on the Record Club's Twitter says, which lyric are you most proud of on this album?
Oh, that is so deep. It depends if I was in a toxic mood or not. I think no, I think one of my favorite written songs is Love You That Much. And I think it's kind of cold, but I think it's the bridge on that part. It's just so sentimental. It's out of my hands. It's out of the question. No, it's if I'm not happy for you, I won't get in your way, but I still adore you. But I can't make the same mistake. I love you like sunshine, but the sun doesn't shine always. That one. Yeah.
I like that one as well. It's when you're like, you're saying something that's like really sad, and you're like, oh, that again, that's not even about me, but get the feeling sad. And also, wait, there was another line which I wrote down. Oh, I bet when you're performing live in Nice Girls, when you say so fuck around and find out, I bet that goes off.
I haven't actually performed that yet live.
Have you not? Okay.
So, but
Wow.
in November I will be doing that London show. I will do that.
100%. And Kyle on the Record Club's Twitter is asking, what is a studio session with like with you, Jazz?
Ooh, I would like to say it's a lot of fun. I feel like honestly making the music is the best part of doing this, of course. So I just like it to be a good freeing time. There's usually a bit of alcohol involved. And just a nice vibe, really nice energy, chill time. I don't like staying in the studio for so long. I don't know how people do that. I like to if it's a vibe, I'll stay up until the vibe is done. But yeah, so just an enjoyable time.
We have Jess on Record Store Days Twitter saying, what did you learn about yourself and your artistry when making this debut album that you're taking to your next project?
I think the biggest thing I took from making this album was I had to be at peace with myself, or I'm never going to be at peace with my music. And I think it was a very round way of coming just back to myself and very accepting of me. And I only got that feeling right at the end of the album. And I think, yeah, I just became very accepting of myself. And I think your art is so connected to you that I had to feel that way by putting so much out there like that. So yeah.
We have Lucy on Record Store Days Facebook saying, if you had to create a playlist of songs that influence, say, Flight, which 3 tracks would be on it?
Okay, I'm gonna throw in. There has to be a Frank Ocean song on there. Maybe Godspeed. I'll throw in there. Frank Ocean. No Ordinary Love, Sade. And then I'm gonna say Time's a Wasting, Erykah Badu.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this is a good playlist.
Chill.
Have this playlist plus the album together, and then there we go. Which song are you most looking forward to performing on tour?
I think Talk About It. I love Talk About It. I don't think it's my favorite song of the album, but I can't wait to perform that live. I think it's got a little swag to it that is just it gives me kind of hip hop vibes, and I just perform that one live.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, before I let you go, you have DJ Ace on this record as well as part of the intro.
Yeah.
How and why did that come about?
So like I said, I wanted people that I love and that know me to be part of nostalgia. And DJ Ace has just been championing me from the very beginning, such a massive support system. And I was so grateful enough, when I asked, he said he'd love to do it. And I wanted a little nostalgic radio drop at the end to bring us into the first track. And I was like, yeah, I've got to ask Ace, and he did amazing justice to it. So yeah, big up him.
Again, I feel like an iconic voice that sort of soundtracks a time, an era is like a timestamp, and you'll listen to it and you'll just be like, oh my God. Or anyone who ever listened to any of his shows or knows who he is.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Jazz, thank you so much for joining us here on the Record Club. Your debut album. I mean, huge congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That is actually all we have time for today. So obviously make sure to treat yourself to a physical copy of Safe Flight. Now that this episode is over, pick one up from your local record store. I am also excited to announce that the winner of this week's Bowers Wilkins wireless headphones prize is Jess on the Record Store Days Twitter. It's not because you have a great name, but just random. Please slide into the Record Club's DMs. We'll get those headphones to you. Obviously, thank you everyone for joining us and sending in your questions. This and all previous episodes are available to watch back on Spotify or YouTube. My name's Jess Izat. I'll see you for the next episode of the Record Club. Jaz Karis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.